It's wild. Skyrim is sold as this gritty, frostbitten RPG filled with Civil War gods and literal world-ending prophecy. But if you've played for more than 5 minutes, you know this game's got another side. I mean, one second you're getting jumped by undead in some ancient tomb, heart-pounding, frantically chugging health potions. Then next you're standing in a meadow outside Whiterun, completely distracted because you spotted a blue butterfly and thought, "Oh, that's pretty. I should catch that." And then you spend the next 20 minutes wandering around, picking flowers like you're on a nature documentary. So here's the question I keep coming back to. Is Skyrim actually a cozy game? Or do we just make it cozy? Think about it. Most cozy games are built around peaceful loops. You wake up in your perfectly decorated house, water your prize-winning turnips, maybe go kiss your pixel girlfriend who never has morning breath, then pass out in your little bed with the checkered sheets. Then you repeat that same loop all over again, and it's comforting because nothing ever goes wrong. The crops don't die if you water them. The girlfriend doesn't leave. The bed is always warm. Skyrim? Not so much. In Skyrim, you wake up and immediately realize you're a prisoner. Or maybe you accidentally joined a cult of bloodthirsty killers and now you owe them a soul. That's not exactly Animal Crossing energy. But somehow we turn it into that. Maybe by choice, by ritual, by slowing down. Like, you know that one route you always walk between Riverwood and Whiterun? The one with the deer that sometimes appears and just trots alongside you for a while before disappearing into the woods? Yeah. You built that feeling. You made that path yours. Bethesda didn't script that deer to be your hiking buddy. For some of us, the cozy comes from mods, lighting overhauls that make every sunrise look like a painting. Nature sounds that turn the wilderness into ASMR. Maybe a little goat companion that follows you around and somehow never gets in the way during combat. I've seen people with mod lists longer than most restaurant menus, all dedicated to making Skyrim feel like the world's most dangerous meditation retreat. But for others, it's vanilla Skyrim, but with the music turned up and the fast travel turned off. It's choosing to walk everywhere, to notice things, like how the music changes when you enter certain areas, how the light hits differently in each hold, how every inn has its own personality. The bannered mare with its rowdy warmth, or the winking skeever with its sketchy charm. It's the vibe. So here's what I think. We craft that cozy feeling piece by piece. It's not cozy by design. It's cozy by you. And honestly, I think Skyrim is secretly one of the coziest games out there by accident. Not because it holds your hand, but because it lets you create your own calm inside the chaos. There's no in-game tutorial for how to live your chillest life in Whiterun. The game doesn't even tell you that you can just not do the main quest, that you can ignore Delphine completely and spend your time collecting every cheese wheel in the province instead. If you want cozy, you have to carve it out yourself. And that's what makes it special, because suddenly that little house in Whiterun becomes your home. You fill containers with potions you'll never drink and books you'll never read. You chose to place an alchemy lab over a child's room even if you barely use it. Every item, every display feels like a quiet little victory you earned. The second you put effort into shaping the experience, instead of just following the next quest marker, Skyrim stops being a fantasy RPG and starts feeling like your weird, messy, beloved digital home. You built it, so you love it more. It's cozy because you made it that way. See, most cozy games hand you peace on a silver plate. The sun always shines just right. The townsfolk always have something cheerful to say. Nothing breaks unless you want it to, and even then it's easily fixed. And that's lovely. Sometimes that's exactly what you need. A warm blanket of serotonin, a world where your biggest problem is deciding whether to plant potatoes or turnips this season. But Skyrim doesn't do that. Skyrim makes you earn your peace. You fight for it. You build it out of broken parts. An iron sword you've had since level 1 but can't bring yourself to sell. A companion with questionable AI that somehow became your best friend. A collection of sweet rolls that serves no practical purpose but brings you joy every time you see them stacked on your kitchen table. Because the comfort hits different when the chaos is real. When you've actually survived something to get to that moment of quiet. When you fought your way through a Draugr-infested tomb, nearly died to a dragon, and gotten lost in a Dwemer dungeon, only to finally see the warm lights of a town in the distance. That relief, that gratitude for shelter and safety, that's something you can't manufacture in a perfectly safe, cozy game. Skyrim doesn't give you cozy. It lets you find it, buried under snow and blood. And maybe that's why we keep coming back. Not for the dragons, though they're cool. Not for the shouts, though Fus Ro Da never gets old. But for those quiet, janky, hard-earned moments where it finally feels like home. For the way you know exactly which merchant in Whiterun has the best prices. For the muscle memory of the path from your house to the blacksmith to the general store. For the fact that you've memorized every loading screen tip but still read them anyway, because they're part of the ritual now. For the nights when you're not trying to save the world or complete any quests. You're just wandering, maybe hunting deer in the forests outside Falkreath. Maybe sitting by the river near Riverwood, watching the salmon jump. Maybe climbing to the top of a mountain for no reason other than it looked interesting from down below. These are the moments when Skyrim shows you its secret face. Not the epic fantasy adventure, but the quiet, contemplative world that exists in the spaces between the chaos. So, is Skyrim a cozy game? Not really, and yet maybe more than most, because coziness isn't just tea and sunshine and perfectly manicured virtual gardens. Sometimes it's knowing you survived the frost, that you carved out a life in the chaos and made it feel warm, that you found beauty in broken things, and made a home out of a world that was actively trying to kill you. So, if you ever find yourself in Riverwood at dusk, your sword finally sheathed, and not a dragon in sight, just sit, listen to the wind in the trees. Notice how the light makes everything look warm and golden. And tell me that's not the coziest thing you've ever felt. Skyrim is chaos, but sometimes, in the quiet moments we create for ourselves, it's home. And home doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. If this video made you feel something, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.